Hi, soulmate. Welcome back to my platform once again. How are you all doing? You can see what we have here. Yes, so now today's club learn how to make this beautiful cargo pant and hoodie. But first is the cargo pant, okay? So let's quickly get started. So guys, you can see what we have here. So what we have is a pattern paper. First, we'll subtract our waistband, which mine is 1.5 inches. We start to work with 2 inches. From the waist to the hip is 8.5 inches. Okay. So from the waist to the knee line, excuse me, is 21 inch, but we'll be subtracting 2 inches. So the new knee line is 19 inches. Okay. So to the end part is 35 inches. So let's quickly connect it. So the next thing to do to find the crotch length, which is our hip divide by 4. You can see the one I'm placing that I didn't subtract the waistband because it's a cargo pant. There shouldn't be any pressure on our crotch length. So connect this way. So the next thing to do is to create a seam allowance. Yes, here with 1 inch for better understanding. So you connect this way to the M line as well. So for those that will be working with a side seam, yes, meaning you'll be adding your seam allowance direct to your pattern. This 1 inch allowance here is for that purpose. We have to place our tie. Tie, knee, and the end part is always divided into 2 parts. Waist and hip is into 4 parts when making a pant. When making a pant, the fullest part is our tie, which is our lap. But when making a skirt, the fullest part is the hip. Okay, so do not forget that. So our tie will be working with is 13 inches, which is 26 into 2 is 13 inches. Okay, so the next thing to do is to find the midpoint. Okay, that half of the 13 inches to create our grain line. So by the time we are through with our cargo pant, we'll have a straight cargo pant. So into 2 is 6.5 inches. Okay, connect this way straight to the M line as well. Connect to this because the first part is the tie, which is our lap. So I'll switch over this way to label for better understanding. The hip, the CL, which is the crotch, or you tie, which is your lap as well, the knee line, and the M line. Okay, so it's time to place our measurements. Okay, the waist measurement is 38 inches. So whatever we're working with, if it's 38 is which is 9.5, okay, so we'll divide it into 2 again because of the grain line. Okay, so we're placing 4.5 inches. So the tie is this to the waist, so we'll connect this way first to the hip line to the crotch length. The straight, this is the waist measurement. For better understand, step up with 1 inch this way. Since we are making a straight part, you always go in 4 inches away from your hip line to avoid bulge when you are done making your pant, especially for ladies. Do not do this for men. Get it straight to this part this way when making a straight pant. Okay, so this is how it should look. So you connect from the waist to the 1 inch, but mine is just an half inch if you look at it very well because it's a cargo pant. So it should be free. Okay, so this is it. So this is the hip line, these 2 inches, but because it's a cargo pant, you work with the exact crotch length. Okay, which is total of 10.5 there. But if you're working with this, you will have 9 inches, okay, as the waist. So over to our knee line. So the knee line we're working with, we'll be dividing into 2, okay? It's 10 inches, 5 this way, 5 this way, okay? Pencil. So the end part 8 inches. Okay, place it 3.5 inches, sorry. So place it this way into two as well. Because it's a cargo pant, we want it free because we're using elastic. Okay, we decide to work with 4 inches, 3.5 inches. So we introduce our straight master row. Connect this way to the knee line. Okay, straight to the knee line this way. Place it very well. So when you tie your afro, you have a straight pant. So this part, I will introduce my palm curve. Okay, flip it this way. You can see it's curve, it's not just straight. Okay, so this way to the knee line. You can see it's not just straight. Little curve there. You decide to place your curve. Just subtract 5 inches from your palm curve. Then you connect. So for the side seam, connect this way because the side seam is not, usually not straight. But when you are free, you have to blend it yourself. So you just connect it straight this way. You can see the knee line. You can see is half inch away from it. So you place it this way, not struggle, just blend this first to the knee line. You can see the half inch. So introduce your straight row, blend it 3 inches away from your knee line. That is all. It's very simple, guys. So for the front waistline and half inch, you should know this by now. Connect straight this one as well to the side seam. So guys, we'll be cutting it out with our thigh measurement because it's a waistband. Yes, so we won't cut out with our standard measurement. So before we trace it out, we have to quickly add seam allowance. Yes, size seam for the sake of our beginners here. Size seam is an seam allowance just an half inch. You place it this way. So once we cut it out, while transferring to the back panel, we'll add any size seam. Okay, so place an half inch this way all round for easy sewing. Okay, no, my student. The pencil I'm marking now, an half inch, half inch this way. So the crotch extension, okay, for the back panel will just be for the crotch extension. There won't be any seam allowance. Understand? So because I've already added seam allowance here, and remember we'll be using this pattern to trace out the back panel. So the seam allowance we added here is going to reflect on the same pattern. So how do we find our crotch extension? Yes, our crotch extension is our hip divide by 4. You place it on the green line. So let's quickly do that first. So this is for those that work, if you're working with just straight pants. But first, I'm cutting out this part, okay? Because I've added half inch, okay? So cut it out this way. You can see half inch to the end part. But this empire, remember, will be creating a band as well. I don't have the band available. If you watch the introduction very well, you see that I use elastic. Yes. So we placed 2 inches. If you have a band, better. Because it's a cargo pant. So, you hold it 2 inches this way. Yes. So we cut it out. So I won't make that mistake. After the full length, we still add 2 inches. Okay. So this is it. Cut it out this way. So let's quickly introduce our pattern. So this is for those that work normal straight pant, and just use the opportunity to explain both straight pant and cargo pant and waistband. So here we are once again. So secure it to paper tape. Okay, so that when tracing it out, you won't have issue with your pattern, moving here and there. Yes. First, connect this way. We went in as waistland with an half inch. Because of the extension we want to place, I'll be working. You see, this is an half inch. So the half inch plus 1 inch is total of 1.5 inches. But for an adult, advise you work with up to 2 inches, so to cover your butt very well. Okay, so we have total of uh, 1.5 inches. I have to place it very well. Okay, so this is for this part. Connect it straight this way. We've added seam allowance. Yes, you can see. So I'll connect it straight to the seam allowance. So whatever I'll be adding as my extension, yes, on this hip line, I'll place it from that seam allowance. Okay, so I'll place 1 inch this way. So my pencil, 1 inch this way from that seam allowance. Yes, this way. Connect it straight. Okay. So for the cross extension is your hip divide by 4. You place it on the grain line this way. You can see. You place it. You can see. So we have total of 3 inches. Okay, this is how you should place it. The knee line is 2.5 inches. The end part is 2 inches because it's a cargo pant. It's not a straight pant. Okay, so place it this way. So this palm curve this way to the knee line. Okay, so for this part, excuse me, connect it this way. We start to use free hand. So we have different methods of how to work on this part. We start to step down with an half inch like what I did here. Okay, especially for those that has big bubbles. No need for that because I've added 2 inches to my crotch because it's a cargo pant. There shouldn't be any tension. So you can see this part is direct to the center of our back. You connect to the center of the back. So if you're working with a pattern row, connect it this way. So this is how I should place it. Okay. But mine is this way because I've already added 2 inches. So this is how I should connect it to the waistline. Okay. So the end part, see, so as well 2 inches. So subtraction. So this is the same allowance. Okay. This part is half inch seam allowance. So with this, we don't need to add seam allowance. So this part as well is seam allowance for better understanding. Okay, so let's trace it out now. This way, that's the back panel. So you can see, cut this part. To the M line. So I said to work with the half inch step down. Yes. So this part straight. So I'm cutting with the same allowance I added on the side seam or the front panel. So while transferring to the fabric, I won't add any seam allowance. So for the waistband, place or tape this, but the best way to cut out your waistband, you can see what I have now. So what I have here, I'll be subtracting an half inch for my waistband. Though it's elastic, at least you should be a bit fitted, have that elastic ruffle more to bring out the beauty. So I'll be subtracting an half inch from my waistband. But the best way to create your waistband is to join your side seam first, measure it all around. So I'll cut out an half inch this way to blend to my crotch length. Okay, this way. So for the cargo pocket, yes, That's our side pocket. Place it. So you decide to work with 4 inches from your knee line, step down 4 inches before your knee line. So for the weight, advise you work with 4 inches. You know it's into fold. The same 4 inches will reflect on the other back panel. Okay, that is four, excuse me, horizontal and four vertical. So that to make it curve. So the pocket aspect is optional. Okay. So this is our pattern. So let me transfer it guys and show you all. So guys, here we are. Yes. So I've also notched the pocket length. This is the back panel, while this is our front panel. Okay. First is to join the side seam. So remember we added the seam allowance of an half inch. Okay. But before we join it, we work on our pocket. So the pocket, side pocket, which we're working with 3 inches. This is seam allowance as well. So do not place your measurement direct from your side seam. Make sure you separate the seam allowance on the side seam. So the depth of your pocket, 3 inches, a moderate one, you like to work with 3.5. Remember, it's direct to the fabric. Yes, so I'm placing 3 inches width, 3 inches depth. So you can see, you connect with your armhole curve like what I did here. Make sure you place your seam allowance first. Yes, to avoid shortage. You see, so the second line is the I want to place now is the seam allowance because it's direct to our fabric and half inch. Okay, I will do the same thing on the other piece. Place it this way as well. You can see facing each other. So I will use to trace these parts. So I will cut with the first one, the 3 inches one and through sewing. I'll be having 3.5 inches. So let's make sure you mark. So this point to this part. So this is what I will do here as well. It's 3 inches. But after sewing, we'll be having 3.5 inches. If you use 4 inches, after sewing, you'll be having uh, uh, 4 inches. Yes. So take note of this. So I just flip it right side facing the right side to trace out the other piece. So I have to introduce our pocket. I don't have pocketing. Yes, I don't have. So what I have here is a calico fabric, the lightest one. Yes, that's what I have here. So I'll placing it into fold now. Yes. So place it. So the length of our pocket, we decide to work with 12 inches length. Yes, place it. So we have into two. So when we're through, we'll be having the two sides pockets. So place 12 inches because that will work with 10 inches. We should be within that range. So you can easily insert your phone there. So yeah, it's 3.5. Yes. So into two now we'll be having 7 inches. And you have to also add like 2 inches or 1.5 inches to avoid any tension, pressure there. Your pocket has to relax very well. Okay. So cut it out this way. So this part, I want to blend it. Yes, I have to blend it this way. This part as well. So the center is just to form my two sides pockets. So you can see, place it this way. You can see. So when I'm through, I will add this fabric there. Yes, because I'm not using the same fabric as my pocket. If I'm doing that, there won't be any need for that. So place it. right side facing right side, pin it. Patiently pin this part. So maintain that and half inch seam allowance. Okay. So the second one, remember we cut out 3 inches width, 3 inches depth without seam allowance. The seam allowance is 4 inches width, 4 inches depth. So I want to cut my exact fabric to sew on that part. Okay, so that this calico fabric won't be appearing there. So cut it out. So if you have your overlocking machine available, weave it around. Yes, it's ready to wear. Okay, yes, weave it around. Yes, I will just take it to my tabletop machine. Okay, stitch it square as well. That's how you stitch this part. But if you are using the same fabric as your pocketing, you don't need this. That is the truth. Guys, if you're interested in our offline and online classes this month, DM. Okay, and please, if I find it very interesting, like, okay, share, comment, subscribe if you are new to this channel. Then I love you all. Okay, so let's go back to class. You can see how it is. So I have to sew this part as well, so that when done sewing it, it will be this. Will flip it. You see, so it's really simple, guys. So make sure you maintain this part, the seam allowance, sorry, to have a neat finishing. Because of the curve, you shouldn't rush while stitching this part. So you stitch it one at a time. Yes, bit by bit. So stitch all around as well. So stitch. Patiently work on this part, especially our beginners here. So sorry, trying to adjust my camera. I want to cut it out now. I will notch it this way. My fabric is very thick, guys. A very thick one. Okay, notch it. Flip it in this way. You can top stitch outside. You can top stitch inside. Inside top stitching meaning you'll be top stitching direct to your pocketing, but mine is outside there. Top stitch I want to work on the top stitch, and while top stitching as well, make sure you do that bit by bit, so when you are through you have a neat work. Yes, so guys, if I find it interesting, like, comment, share. Okay, this channel to grow. This is it. So I'll do the same thing to the second pocket, but before then, flip it. You can see the result already. Yes, flip it. Pin this part. Let me get my pin. Pin this other part. So I want to stitch it now to hold it down. I'm only stop stitching, guys, on the waist line. So this other part, but make sure you place it very well. Yes, I couldn't find my pin. So remember, half-inch seam allowance. Okay, mark it. So we top stitch on that part as well to hold it down. So you can see how beautiful it is. It's very neat. So I want to notch, guys. Watch closely. With that half inch, so if you want it curve, better. So you see, you stitch this way to create that curve. But that curve should be an half inch because we're using the half inch on the fabric part to join your back panel. So notch it this way. So you cut out this part. So this half inch you are seeing here now is seam allowance. You set your hand this way, pull it out. You can see why the tutorial is very long. There is very detailed. So you will be stitching with that part that will notch that an half inch, so that when joined to the that's our back panel to front panel, the pocket won't obstruct the side seam. Okay, so stitch to that curve this way. Okay, so please, if you find this very interesting, like, okay, so you can see cut out this part is not needed. So this part we try to top stitch it, so flip it out this way, top stitch if you want to. Okay, but I'm not doing that. Okay, top stitch if you wish to. So this is our side pocket. You can see that an half inch that I'll be using to join to the back panel. So see the half inch and see how neat our pocket is already. So I will do the same to the other piece. Yes, so I've introduced it as well. So sorry because of duration, guys. We're through with this side pockets. It's time to work on our cargo pocket. So before we do that, we'll join our side seam with that an half inch that we added as a seam allowance. Always work with your seam allowance, okay, to the hem part. So straight to the hem part. So this is it. So if you have your lucky machine available, please weave it. And when doing this, it should be done separately. Yes, so that it won't obstruct our cargo pocket. So I'll mark this way. Like what I said, could try to work with the length of your pocket, try to be 8 inches total. Try to work with 10 inches, 4 inches before your knee line, 4 after your knee line. Try to place it center front, one at the center back. So all depending on your preference. Okay. So this other part you can see I've joined it as well. So cut out our pocket. You have to watch closely, guys. Yeah. So I'm looking for my ruler and my pencil. Sorry, guys. So found my pen. So I have to ignore the pen. So you mark 2 inches first this way. So the length of your pocket, place it. So if it's 8 inches, place it. If it's 10 inches, but it should be within that range. So the fabric, I said to switch this way. You know why? Fabric has pattern that I want to maintain. So you see the same way, 2 inches this way. Connect this straight. This straight. 2 inches. So the pocket width, you place it. So you place your pocket width after the 2 inches. Okay, connect this way. So placing the 2 inches as well. 2 inches all round. But make sure your measurements are correct. Yes. So place it this way. You see. So cut it out. So guys, please, if I find it interesting, like, comment, okay? You can also follow me on Facebook, Achi Living Signature, Instagram, please. So I've set my sewing machine. So this is the pocket length. Find the midpoint. Place it, the midpoint. I will stitch. First, I'll roll it this way. Make sure you pin ½ inch, ½ inch. Use your master roll or straight roll. But while I'm working on this, your pocket it should be straight. Everything should be neat. So stitch with that ½ inch. Sorry, sorry guys. Trying to adjust my machine. Stitch that ½ inch that we marked with that 2 inches length that we placed. This way. Always mark. Yes. So this is how it should look. You can see. So you choose any part you want to work with. So this part, if you have your overlocking machine, you weave it. Fabric is thick, it won't pull out. So I will stitch this way. But I have to make sure I maintain that 2 inches line that I marked earlier. So pin it, stitch. This way. So your front, you can see. The next thing to do is to flip it in. So if you have your pencil or a tailoring chalk, use to mark it or iron it to have that green line. Yes, for easy sewing. Iron it on both sides. And you mark it this way. But to place the measurement again on the right side, it will take your time. So either you iron it or you try to place your measurement. Once again, if you cannot iron. Okay, so I will stitch at the tip with 0.1 inch or 0.2 inch this way. Watch closely guys, because I won't be showing the second part of this. You can see at the tip. So when we get to that point, that 2 inches as well, so flip it in to also stitch with 0.1 inch or 0. Excuse me, 2 inch. So you can see when you stitch to that point as well, you flip it in. Yes. So watch closely. Stitch. Sorry, my machine light so bright. Stitch this way to that 2 inches as well. That you stop at the pocket length. You can see. Flip it in as well. you stitch. So before you switch, make sure your machine needle is in. Just raise the machine foot. The machine needle should be in. Stitch to this part. You can see, because of the fabric I'm using is not coming out that nice. So you flip this part this way. Watch closely, guys. This way. To close, you can see the line that we marked. That's why it's very important to mark, not just this cargo pocket. And when you are working both corset, bustier, it's very easy to sew. As you can see, I won't trim it out yet. So place it as well as we can see the mark. Stitch to close it as well. This way. So before cutting it out, I want you guys to have a view of it. Cut it out this way. Cut it out this way. You can see the outcome is really beautiful, guys. So over to our fabric, our beautiful cargo pant. So you can see why this video is so long. It's bit by bit. So the center side seam, that's your side seam. Place it. Pin it down. My fabric so thick. Pinning down was a battle. Yeah. So open it very well this way. If you are working with a lighter fabric, you iron it. Yes, make sure you iron it. Very easy for you to fix. So this is how you pin. Just 0.2 inch in. Yes. Pin it this way. Make sure you adjust your back side seam. Put your front side seam. Pull it out. You have to take your time when working on this part. You see? So this other part, send it in as well. So this pocket, if you decide to create a cover or 2 inches for that part, you will just stitch it separately. So over to our machine this one. Stitch. I repeat first here because this part is not that difficult. I already pin it down. So I'm just following the pin. As I stitch, I pull out my pin. As I stitch, I pull out my pin. So guys, if you find this so interesting, yeah, this tutorial, please like, comment, share. Yes, you see, it's a little rough here, so I'll iron it. The fabric is so thick, very thick for this machine, so I don't have the strength to carry my light here and there. I was to stick to this tabletop. So to top stitch this part again, you can see that 2 inches I use. So aim it. See, within that aiming allowance, stitch on that part alone. Yes. I had to quickly remove my pins. You can see the beauty. So I already locked the MM part. So this is what I talking about the facing to flip it this way. So all depend on your preference. But I mean we're doing that because this fabric is extremely thick, guys. So this is it. So it's time to join our center front. Okay, so make sure you work with your seam allowance. Okay, seam allowance because I added half inch. Please you know my students, they joined me in this class. So stitch the same way, half inch this way to the waist area. So we're through with that part. Open it up this way. So join center front to the end part. Yes, on both sides. Show you guys. So guys, we're done with that part as well. Lean to the right side. You see my machine. Excuse me. Creating some gathers there. I had to find my waist round measurement. As I said earlier, guys, the easiest way to find the length of your band for this, especially for beginners, when you're through joining your band, just place your tape on the center front, measure it all around. The way we work, take accurate measurement when working on a shirt collar. Yes, and when you're working on a shirt collar, anything you have to do with collar, your brain must function very well. Uh, Around waist measurements. So this is my band. Place it this way into two because I'm using overlocking machine. So I'm done tracing it. Sorry, camera couldn't capture that part because you understand all this by now. Yeah, it's just waistband. So I want to close it. I'll be placing this part on this front, center front. Half inch. So half inch. So I'll trim it off. You can see. Send it in this way. You can see it's shorter now. The band you'll be working with, always reduce 6 inches or 8 inches from your waist measurement to create that gather effect, that waistband elastic effect, yeah, that ruffle. Okay, so place it this way. There are different methods. You have to fix it, leave some inches before you use your safety pin to insert your elastic. Okay, so you could decide to use if you have your ribbon fabric available, it's easier. Yes, and it's more beautiful. Yes, so I don't have that available, so I'm using my elastic to create my waistband. You can see. So this is the outcome. So you can see it's a bit free, so I'll adjust it again, close this part. But if you have your overlocking machine available, make sure you weave it when you are through. So this is the part to be inserting our rope. So place it, make sure it's accurate. Find the midpoint. You try to use your eyelet, okay, to punch this part to come out very beautiful. I wasn't patient enough. So this is it. But if you're using eyelet, you will do that before closing this part. So I'll cut mine. I really cut mine because of the fabric I'm working with. Yes, it won't pull off because it's very thick. But if yours is pulling out and you don't have a overlocking machine, use your hand needle, a thread, tack it all around when you're done opening this way. So place it this way all around to support it. That is all. We have to introduce our pants. Make sure you start from center front. Place it. Pin. Yes. Pin it, especially for beginners here. Make sure you pin it all around for easy sewing. And please, if you find it interesting, this tutorial interesting, please like, comment, share, okay? We'll pin it this way for easy sewing, guys. That because of the duration, we'll be having a part two. Yeah, the hoodie jacket, okay? So to be part two, but this is about 55 minutes, guys. But it's well detailed though. So this is it. You can see how beautiful it is. See the side pocket. So the next thing to work on is the band, the M part, the M line band. So place it all around. If you have this ribbon fabric, it's very beautiful. Don't stress you. So whatever you have, just subtract 5 inches. Yes, but mine is still elastic. So you can work with elastic, but the easiest way is to work with your ribbon fabric. Okay, if you have it available. So I will place my fabric as well into fold. Okay, so it's 2 inches, so it has to be into fold. Meaning on fold is 4 inches, into fold is 2 inches. So place the length, okay, this way. So don't forget to add seam allowance as well. Connect this way. You can see the seam allowance. So into fold like this because it's folded already. I'll be having two. Yes, that is two pieces. Fold it once again. Find the weight. So instead of placing 2 inches, I have to place 2.5 inches. Reason is this: we need an half inch for seam allowance. So cut it out this way. You see? So I'll cut this part open because it was folded. So this is 2 inches into fold on fold 4 inches. Over here. So this is the elastic I'll be working with. Yeah, just 1 inch elastic. But the best way to work on this is your ribbon fabric. Yes. Place it on the side seam. Not the dog. Packing. Stitch with whatever you added as your seam allowance. My hair is 0.5 inch. Sorry, trying to adjust my camera. Stitch this way. So I will insert my elastic when I'm through. But if it's with a ribbon fabric working with, you have to drag it. There should be a pressure there. Yeah, you won't be working with elastic with your ribbon fabric. And it comes in different colors. Yes. So this is it on this part. Yes, yes. I want to close this part. So watch closely. Let me show you guys how to close this part. Yes. So you can see. Make sure you place the both sides. That is both parts. Sorry, this way mark. Hmm. Always mark, guys. This is a secret. Oh. So when you mark accurately, when you are through, you will love your work. Like seriously. So I've marked. I've also notched it. So I will flip it this way. Sorry, to come up, the camera wasn't well positioned. Yes, my hand was a bit high. Yes, I had my camera position. So open it this way. So guys, what happened is that I opened it right side facing the right side. But before cutting that, you will have a view of it. Yes. Stitch because my fabric is so thick. I actually affected my machine. So stitch as you stitch, you adjust it. So and through, you can see it's time to fix elastic this way. You can see the elastic. If your measurement is for instance is 10, yes, but it's more than you work with 5, you can work with 6. Yes. Patiently insert it this way all around. Secure your elastic by stitching it together. Then close that part. Take it to a overlocking machine. Wave it all around. Yes. So be tight here. The fabric is so thick, guys. So I have to apply little pressure here. See? Pull it out this way. So you can see. The more you drag it out, the more tightening this part will be. So I'm okay with this. I want to stitch it together, as I said earlier, this way. So guys, this is all for the tutorial. Please find this tutorial interesting, like, yes, comment. You can see. So I'll do the second one and show you guys. So I love you all. Please, if you're new to the channel, kindly subscribe. Yeah, share, comment. Try to attract more people to view this tutorial, not just this, to my other tutorials as well, please. For the waistband, yes, the waistline, because I had to top stitch. Yes, find the midpoint of your waistband, top stitch, but as you top stitch, you pull. Yes, you know, talking about the waistband. I left mine this way because I'll be using rope. So that it will be very neat, it will relax very well. So this is all for this part one. Yes, God bless you all. Bye for now.